Section 65 of A Guidebook of Art, Architecture, and Historic Interests in Pennsylvania, edited by Margaretta Archambault. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Tatiana Chichilla. Blair County. Formed February 26, 1846, named for Honorable John Blair, native of this county and public-spirited citizen. In 1820 he laid out and was president of the Huntington, Cambria, and Indiana Turnpike, first in this section. Blair County lies in the beautiful Juniata Valley, settled by Scotch-Irish, English, and Germans. Much of the soil is very fertile. Chief industries, agriculture, coal mining, and manufacturing. It is the center of a network of roads, mostly built as turnpikes from 1830 to 50, now state roads. Tyrone, altitude 692 feet above sea level, population 9,084, outlet for important bituminous coal products, lies in a basin formed by the baseline of Old Tussey, a famous mountain, and the bold ridge known as Bald Eagle. The home of Captain John Logan, eldest son of Shikellamy, was at mouth of Bald Eagle Creek. Second son, James Logan, the Mingo chief, named for Secretary Logan of Germantown, went west to the Ohio. His son, Todd Cados, married a daughter of the chief corn planter. About 3 miles east from Tyrone is the Sinking Valley, named from the Sinking Creek, an underground watercourse. Near is Birmingham with a pleasure ground, where there are 100 springs and a large cave. A school for girls is here. Altoona, population 60,331, altitude 1,171 feet above sea level, founded by the Pennsylvania Railroad in 1850, consists almost entirely of their shops and workmen's houses. St. Luke's Protestant Episcopal Church, native stone, first built in 1858. Second building in 1881 using the same stone. Gothic, F.C. Withers, New York, architect. Has an English window, also won by Tiffany, the Resurrection. Exhibited in Paris in 1900. Memorial to Almut E. Reed, Esquire. Brick Rectory and School, gift of General John Watts de Peyster, as memory to his daughter, first school for advanced education in Altoona. In the Logan House, built 1854 by the Pennsylvania Railroad, was held the conference of the local war governors in 1862, namely A.G. Curtin, Pennsylvania, John A. Andrew, Massachusetts, Richard Yates, Illinois, Israel Washburn, Jr., Maine, Edward Solomon, Wisconsin, James K. Kirkwood, Iowa, O.P. Morton, by D.G. Ross, his representative, Indiana, William Sprague, Rhode Island, F.H. Pierpont, Virginia, David Todd, Ohio, N.S. Berry, New Hampshire, Austin Blair, Michigan, to devise ways and means for cooperating with President Lincoln in suppressing the rebellion. King Edward VII, as Prince of Wales, stopped here. On the William Penn Highway, formerly an Old Portage Road, is site of an early historic hotel, Fountain Inn, mentioned by Dickens in American Notes. Here William Henry Harrison stopped overnight on his way to Washington in 1841 to be inaugurated President of the United States. Henry Clay and Jenny Lind also stopped here. Near junction of Sugar Run with Burgoon's Run, 3 miles south of Altoona, in 1781, Indians killed a number of militiamen from Fetter's Fort, built in 1775, by firing on them from ambush. A monument dedicated in 1909 marks the place where the wife of Matthew Dean and 3 of their children were killed by Indians in 1788, while he and the other children were working in the fields. In Blair County are also sites of Fort Roberdeau, built 1778, and Fort Lowry 1779, unmarked. Magnificent views from Nopsononock at summit of the Alleghanies, Prospect Hill, and Kittanning Point, where the Pennsylvania Railroad is carried around the famous Horseshoe Curve. A little farther, the Pennsylvania Railroad passes through a tunnel 2/3 of a mile long, 2,160 feet above sea level. Lakemont Park is a noted place of scenic beauty near Hollidaysburg, population 4,071, county seat, laid out in 1820, named for James Adam Holliday, who lived here prior to the Revolution. Courthouse, Romanesque, built 1876 to 77, remodeled and enlarged in 1906. On grounds are jail, feudal style, architect John Haviland, and a soldier's monument. Highland Hall, stone, colonial doorway with beautiful grounds, is now Miss Cowell's School for Girls. Entrance to Old Presbyterian Cemetery is a Norman gate designed by Price J. McLanahan, Philadelphia, hewn timbers held in place by bolts of wood, supporting a red-tiled roof. Main Street is part of the old turnpike between Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, shaded by beautiful old trees. Here in the days of the canal in 1834, boats met the Portage Railroad at foot of the Alleghanies. Freight and passengers were carried over the mountain by inclined planes and stationary engines. By this means, travel from eastern Pennsylvania was continued through the Ohio River to the Mississippi. Charles Dickens took the trip over the mountain in 1842. The Allegheny Portage Railroad, in boldness of design and difficulty of execution, compared well with the passes of the Simplon and Mount Cenis. Ant Hill woods, almost within town limits, were said to be the only hills of this kind in the country. They were written up in Century magazine by Dr. McCook. A hill was taken to the Academy of Natural Sciences, Philadelphia. They are now level with the ground through vibration of the trolley. Less than a mile from town are Chimney Rocks, famous council chamber of the Indians, with a view of unsurpassed beauty of the Juniata Valley, Old Portage Road, and Allegheny Mountains. On western slope, much of the Portage Road is used for the highway. The monumental arch is still standing. End of section 65.